Here we go. Willow talk. It's all happening now. Famous words in cricket, aren't they? Brad Haddin, how are you?
Never write off a great.
Hmm?
Never write off a great.
Who did we write off?
Rohit Sharma.
We didn't write him off.
Kohli.
Okay, yeah.
Mate, Virat Kohli got a couple of ducks. Everyone's saying he's going to retire in Sydney. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli were batting on a different wicket.
Ben Horne from the Daily Telegraph and Code Sports, cricket writer with aforementioned. How are you, Benny?
Very good, thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me back again.
Do we take him seriously today?
With the hat.
What comes out of his mouth? Are you looking at
I just had to set the record straight because you said to me the other day, how the West Tigers going. I just had to be clear which underperforming team I'm supporting here.
We do have a worldwide audience. He's wearing a North Sydney Bears hat, is Ben Horne. That's his team, which have been defunct since the late 90s. I've got to point out, they've come back. They've been admitted back, but they've got to be in Perth. So, yeah, you're kind of back, Benny.
Game.
Yeah.
What do you got on? Dale Earnhardt. I got a fresh haircut, so, yeah.
When'd you get that? 12 months ago.
Hey, they're few and far between. They're an event now. Haircuts for me. Really enjoyable. Hey, guys, a bit to talk about, as you'd expect. Yeah. Less than a month out from an Ashes. How many sleeps now, Hans? Less than 30. That's the main thing. Pat Cummins is out of the first test. I said first test, not out of the Ashes. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Yeah, well, the fact that it's taken this long to, I guess, confirm that he's out of the first test shows, I suppose, just how much uncertainty there is around Pat. Like, until he's actually back bowling, no one really knows. I think a best-case scenario now would be third test, just given the timeline that has been outlined for how many weeks of bowling he would need. So Australia's saying he should be back bowling shortly, so really that needs to happen, I'd say, by the end of this week, to get him rolling again.
I'm surprised if he plays the test. No, if it like this. Wow. I just know lower backs. I've had all sorts of issues with it as well. The moment that load and twisting gets placed on that, and I can't think of other than trying to unleash a 400-metre drive in golf and maybe try and serve at 200 k's an hour in tennis, bowling is about as loaded you can get on a twisting body. So I don't know. I hope I'm totally wrong, but yeah, it's ominous in my eyes.
It'll be interesting now what they do with the time frame, whether they write off the second test and try to get him right for Adelaide. Because if I look at the Australian bowling stocks, you don't want to miss your captain for any test matches because he's such a huge influence in big moments, and I think that's what they'll miss. But like, do you now go, you know what, I think we can get through the first two tests, pink ball test match, Perth, the wicket bowling will be hard work. Do you aim for the third? Do you just say, I'm not even going to consider that?
Yeah.
Strategically, I think that's a smart call because there's a big gap between first and second test, so you would hope you could get Hazelwood Stark bowling through two tests in a row. And I don't mind the idea of Michael Neser in Brisbane either. His home deck, pink ball. That's a test where I think you could try him. So I like that strategy.
We'll dive into the pecking order in a moment. Just what else is coming up on Willow Talk. We'll review the one-day series between India and Australia. We'll big up our women's side who are into a World Cup semi-final to take on India, who snuck into the semis. Alana King once again proves that when it comes to leg spin bowling, there's one team you want to be playing against, and that's South Africa, because she was magnificent. And South Africa, I reckon I'm better at reading Bulgarian algebra than they are at picking a leg spinner.
It was just an incredible spell. Like, it was amazing. Did you see similarities with the way that Alana bowls and Shane Warne?
Well, what I've seen similarities in is the body language of the opposition. Like, Alana King's been a star for a long time, and we know Warnie's reputation. But it was when she was at the top of a run-up and the way that, like, even when they're in their defence and the non-strikers nervous about running, it's the body language that they created before that they bowled a ball. That's what excited me. Now I don't think South Africa, if they come up against Australia, can compete before they get on the field. And it was the body language, the way they reacted. But she's a superstar.
Yeah. 7 for. And with a bit of luck, you'll hear from her on Willow Talk later in the week, the great Alana King. So going well for our Australian women over there. Fingers crossed the captain been placed in cotton wool with a little calf twinge.
Roll her out in a semi.
Yeah, get her out there. 140 off 120. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming. Also, we'll get your thoughts, Ben, about what you're feeling in your bones about what will be the big stories of summer. So park that for a bit later on. We've got sundries. We'll look at the upcoming Shield round. There's a bit to consider there. And England have copped one in the first one-dayer in New Zealand as well, despite the fact that Harry Brook went absolutely burko. But as I put to Hads before we came in recording here, I get the feeling Harry Brook is lulling himself into a false sense of security. Maybe it's hope more than a feel. An educated guess. No, it's he looks in scary form.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to say he's the best batsman across the two teams. And, let's look how Australia handles Harry Brook is going to be huge. I mean, I guess the big boundaries in Australia, maybe that's something that he hasn't confronted before in Test cricket, but, they don't seem to be...
So instead of 20 rows back, they're going to go 5 rows back?
That's right. Yeah, you can't contain him, can you? But, he's a scary proposition. I think England's batting lineup overall is a concern to Australia. They look settled. They look balanced. I like the chances of Joe Root breaking his 100 drought this summer as well.
So does Haydos.
But the bowling for England is a huge concern.
Well, you know what about Harry Brook? Everything leading into this and getting ready for the Ashes, he's going to be the big wicket alongside Root and the way Stokes bats with the tail. But the only thing in our favour at the moment is how's he going to handle an Ashes campaign? Like we've seen in the past him pull out a lot of IPL for extended times away, and an Ashes it can be a lonely place if you don't start well. You're away from home. I know families come around Christmas, but that might be something that he's got to deal with as well. They're in New Zealand now, straight here. All of a sudden, the tour becomes a 3-4 month tour. So that's maybe something that he's got to learn to deal with.
Yeah, I just had relatives get back from the UK. They're already wearing 8 layers. Why wouldn't you want to be in this place of the world? I know New Zealand's not the warmest place in the world, but, over here it's beautiful. Anyway, that's them. This is us. Check us on social media if you want, at Willow Talk Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and the update on YouTube. It's Willow Talk, the Willow Talk page on YouTube now. All the full-length podcasts, the shorts and everything. Plus, leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Love your feedback. Now, a video is going viral again, and Hads, don't want you to go over this if you've been over it a million times about the no ball, Shoaib Akhtar, the free hit, etc. It's gone around the world a few more times. It's weird how algorithms work on social media, that this has taken off again in the last week or so. We won't get you to tell the story, but give us, Hads, a moment from your recollection of cricket and watching a lot of cricket that you think deserves to go viral.
Switch hit.
Who?
Well, Peterson, when he took on Murali in a test match.
Yeah.
And facing Murali and Australia have had their troubles in the subcontinent to spin when you're not quite sure which way the ball's going. And to have the skill to switch it, I was always amazed with David Warner, the way he did. I remember playing with him really early in a grade game, and they had a left arm spinner bowl into him, and he said, they brought point, he said, I'll just switch hit it. And I said, oh, maybe just whack it to mid-on, I'll get down the other end. He goes, no, watch this. And you know where you're sort of going, yeah. And the ball sails over point, and you just go, like, our era, you wouldn't even thought about that. You think about going deep in your crease, trying to get off strike, or hit it hard to the sweeper, or get caught trying to go over mid-on and get caught at long off. But I think the switch hit doesn't go global enough.
Were you like, back to KP in a moment on Murali, but were you like, when Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore kind of tries to work out how Happy hits the ball so far, so he went away in private and did a couple and missed the ball. Were you like that? You went away to a quiet little net and go, how did he do that? And then you failed, nick one in your face, or
you could get down your knee and use the pace of the ball and ramp it into your own head, but the skill to be able to do that, and you had to change your thinking when you were batting with guys like Warner, Kevin Peterson. I imagine would be the same. Steve Smith, when they say to you, I'm going to switch hit, your first thoughts, mate, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And they go, well, watch this.
Like KP did to Murali.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Murali just went back to the top of his run and said, well, I didn't expect that.
Well, what about from your field when you first start to see something like that?
Yeah, I think the first time that David Warner did it was, it does blow you away. Yeah. Some of the things that, guys like Warner, Glenn Maxwell,
Yep.
Peterson's a good one too. It is the sort of, even, he didn't last long out there, but Jake Fraser-McGurk, when he came in and played his first couple of games for Australia, it was just his attitude to just trying to hit everything from the start of the game was, you got to watch it.
Dilshan. Remember Dilshan brought the scoop where he'd get down on his knee and scoop it straight over his head. And you just watch it as a keeper, one bounce. He didn't always, he scooped a lot into his head. But I think they deserve to go viral a lot more than a bet in a pub with about Shoaib Akhtar.
Now, we've got another bit of feedback here as well. Suddy got in contact. G'day from Newcastle in the UK. The beautiful northeast of the UK. Love the podcast. Top-notch banter.
Soccer team up there.
No. One again on the weekend. Love the podcast. Top-notch banter between the three of you is great. Look forward to the Ashes as much as I want England to win. I can't see them beating Australia. I think Australia win 3-2. Keep up the great work, Suddy. See, we've infiltrated the minds of the English on this podcast, which is wonderful. However, I think Suddy will wake up this week sometime hearing about Pat Cummins and going, maybe that 3-2 could change around. So we've talked about Pat being out and what will be with his build-up to potentially playing a role in the summer. But, guys, I don't know if there's a little office in Jollymont with a whiteboard kind of list, a list on a whiteboard of the 1 to 5 backup options. What are the seedings in realistic terms? Boland, Hazelwood, Stark, ... Under that line, who's next?
Well, I would think Abbott, Doggett, Nisa, but I would say Nisa if it's the Gabba. I'm not sure I'd be putting Nisa ahead of the other two in any other test, but if they look to Michael Nisa home test at Brisbane with the pink ball, I think he could go well there. Below that is very interesting. And we're only guessing. But I think it is one of those summers where you could just have a shot come from the clouds. Sort of what Sam Konstas was in a batting sense last summer. There could be a bowler that we're not even talking about now who plays a test come test 3 or 4. I know Riley Meredith has got some support from Tim Payne and
good judge
and others. Yes, and Marley Beardman probably too early for him. And I guess we're just waiting to see with Jai Richardson, if and when he's available because he's a proven test player.
You're talking to the president, the treasurer, the social coordinator of the Jai Richardson fan club over here. So I don't think you're going to get too much grief from the man opposite you here, Ben.
Well, he's a really interesting case, Jai Richardson, because his skill set is, if he's right, he's in the squad. And he is competing with Scotty Boland for a position in the team. And he's a proven performer at that level. It's last year they could have left him a bit longer with his shoulder and let him got through a bit more cricket, but he's had surgery to be available for the Ashes. And to me, I hope come 3, 4 and 5 that he's in the equation. I understand he's back bowling. Let's hope we see him playing maybe the last Shield game beforehand. But the other one I think's a big show is Xavier Bartlett. And I think he could come into calculation for the first 2 test matches if something happens, because he's a very similar bowler to Scotty Boland. He's different to what we have. He does move the ball off the seam. He's a new ball bowler. So I think his name is there and thereabouts as well. The other one, I was interested to hear Paney say Riley Meredith. Because I think he's someone that could, when the wickets get flatter, when you need airspeed, I think from the 3rd test on, he might be someone that comes into the equation as well. Because, as you know, the first 2 tests we think are going to be pretty, like Boland should be fine. It's whether he can back up the 3rd and 4th. He's proven to be a superstar in everything he's done so far, but you might need airspeed come the back end of the series.
What about conditions-wise, you spoke of Michael Neser at the Gabba, which makes complete sense, but is there conditions-based considerations around Adelaide and Perth in Tests 1 and 3?
Good question. Yeah, look, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the other one that I forgot to mention is, Chris Rogers has been pushing Fergus O'Neill as well, who I guess doesn't have that same airspeed as some of the others, but he does take wickets, and he's certainly got something about him.
Well, not many cricketers I've seen field in Prada Sunnies. And that's what I've got to say about Fergus O'Neill. He'll do things his way.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Pizzazz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, hopefully they don't need to consider conditions-based selection for Perth if the big three are up and running, if everything keeps going smoothly there.
Yeah.
It does get interesting though, Adelaide and Melbourne, because I don't know, especially with the lack of day tests we've had in Adelaide for a while now. It's hard to get a read on that, but that's where I feel that Australia will need the injection, because the boys will be tired from the first couple of tests, and depending on what the scoreline is at that point, that's going to be the pivotal moment.
Well, the big one too, I know we're talking about different options, but that all changes also depending on Green. His availability to bowl, because like I think his bowling, and especially with Paddy out now, becomes massive. He's different to Webster. Well, Webster will do a roll. He can have the keeper up, hit the ball swinging. He used it to great effect. But Green also bowls a lot of grunt overs, where they'll use him for 8 to 10, but 6 of those overs, once he's warm up, he's intimidate the opposition. And that's what Paddy's done at times. And you don't want Josh doing too much of that, or Starkey with the load that they're going to be under with one down. So Cameron Green's selection around bowling, to me, is massive with the makeup of the side.
Whispers there on the side strain. God, we've got these little freaking annoying niggles, aren't they? It's not like a broken leg. It's like a little side strain, a little maybe heat spot on a back. It's defining our lives.
It's hard to get a read on Green. I mean, the Australian camp saying that it's a very minor setback, but the thing that worries me is just he's only bowled 4 overs in his bowling comeback. So even if it's not much of a setback, I'm just I mean, how could you be confident at this point going in with him as an bowling all-rounder for the first test when you already know Pat Cummins is out of the equation? They can't afford to push one of the other bowlers to the blink. So, I don't know. I mean, I just feel that the insurance of Webster may be needed for that first test, because I don't know how confident they can be about Green.
White ball series, the 3 one-dayers against India. Hads, go. We've talked a lot about Australia so far, so let's go India first. And takeaways from there. You just purely got what you saw at the SCG on Saturday in your mind with those 2 greats?
Well, they outplayed in the first 2. I know the first game was rain affected. The takeout from me was Cooper Connolly, the way he batted under pressure when he came in. We've only had a really small sample size. He's 22 years young. He's played every format already, and we've sort of been waiting to see what George Bailey and the selectors have seen, and we've seen that. He was really good, and the best thing about it was his temperament as well. He didn't get flustered by the situation, and when the game was getting a bit close, he played that shot over cover and just relieved all pressure. So that was a big take for me. Bartlett, the way he got the ball to move off the seam, we seen he got Kohli for a duck. I thought he was really impressive. We got some game time into Mitch Owen and players like that who haven't played much one-day cricket at all. So he'll be able to go away and sort of assess where his game's going to be, because he's got a different role. But back end of it, what about how good Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli? I think it's the last time we're going to see them here, but I don't see them retiring anytime soon. I know I was having a debate with Mark Waugh about Virat Kohli, and he said, I think he might retire after this. And I don't think he will. And
retire from Indian one-day cricket.
Yeah, I think he's still got the hunger to play to the World Cup. And You got to remember, he didn't have any cricket from the IPL final. He went away, recharged, and as the tour went on, he was back to his old self in that last game. But yeah, the old boys to me, like Rohit Sharma, the way he got that 100 and the way he's presented, he's not doing all that work to drop that weight, not to be available for the 2027 World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why else they would be here if they're not trying to go through to the next World Cup. I mean, you remember just like that will go down as probably the worst moment of their careers, losing that World Cup final at home to Australia last time. So I think the desire to try and avenge that is huge. When they do eventually retire, they won't get a better testimonial game than what they got on the weekend, though.
Well, they can come back for the Big Bash when Cricket Australia sell the farm. Well, they can come back then.
Yeah.
When we're all part of a franchise world.
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, I mean, I was happy for Virat. I mean, I know a lot of Australians would be happy to see the back of him, but you know, he has had a great career in Australia. You know, you think about overseas players that have come to Australia to perform. He's right up there with the very best. And, you know, what a great competitor. And, you know, it was fitting for him in Sydney as well to depart with that sort of moment.
Well, compare it to 12 months ago, or a little under 12 months ago. It's certainly better than the way he left the Test arena in Australia, where he was given it to the crowd about sandpaper.
Yeah.
There was an edge to that day, but that was what you want to see the guy go out with on the international stage here in Australia, given all the fear that he's brought to our cricket grounds over a very long amount of time. Sometimes you had a box office seat for it, or just sitting at home watching it. It's good stuff.
Well, he changed the attitude of the Indian cricket team to playing in Australia. You got to remember his first series as captain. He got hundreds in his first game, 2 back-to-back hundreds, and he brought a real aggressive approach. They weren't coming to Australia just to be there with the numbers. He wanted to win. He was really aggressive towards everyone, and he got his team up. They were in a contest once he took over, and you can sort of mark it down at that moment there where you could see India building to a test result in Australia, and they've had a couple now off the back of what he started and his attitude.
Yeah.
One thing I'll bring up from the series that caught my eye, Adelaide. Try and pick it.
Adelaide.
Yeah, Adelaide. Something out of Adelaide that has got me very, very excited. No. What do you think of me? Like, I'm purely just watching the cricket, but I am looking forward to getting their post-play. No, big, tall New South Welshman with the ball charging in, and he was borderline unplayable.
Yeah.
Now, he's done it before against India in a test match famously a few years ago, but if Josh Hazlewood bowls like that to the English top order, there could be carnage in Adelaide with a red ball.
Yeah.
That was...
He looks ready.
Oh, that was so good.
He's got one... I think he's playing one Shield game.
Yes.
The SCG one?
Yep.
With
Mitchell
Stark as well.
Yeah.
And Nathan Lyon will play that too. So.
Yeah, Lino's playing all of them.
Yeah.
He's playing.
He just loves cricket.
Yeah, he does. Well, he actually hasn't bowled that much. Lino, they had a game in Perth where the wicket was nearly not up to standard for a normal game. Then he went to Victoria, didn't have to bowl much. Yeah, he needs the overs.
Yeah.
And he's someone that likes to bowl a lot.
But yeah, Josh with that new pill the other day in Adelaide. Oof.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. The other one, Matt Renshaw, I know it's easy to, read too much into a different format of the game. But yeah, I think Matt Renshaw gave the selectors a bit of food for thought as well.
Where is he? In the, I don't know how much George Bailey gives you when you ring him up and you go, oh shit, here's Ben again. Or Dan Cherney, or Dan Braddock, or someone like that. George just swears at his phone and then answers, hey mate, how you going? Does he give much? Like in terms of the batters?
Look, I would think that Matt Renshaw is behind Jake Weatherald as it stands now. But look, we've got a Shield game on this week. If Matt Renshaw goes and makes another 100 for Queensland, it could change things. But also, like, the Ashes is a long series, No one tipped Sam Konstas to be debuting last summer in a 5-test series. And, if Usman Khawaja can't start off the first couple of tests how he'd want to, then, there could be more than one opportunity. And as we said, with the uncertainty around Green, the batting lineup could change from test 1 to test 2.
Have you ruled Sam out of selection for the first test?
I think so, yeah. I'd be surprised if he was coming back. As we just said, there is another Shield game, but I think Sam's going to have to bide his time a bit more.
He's 20.
Yeah.
It's not like he's 28.
Yeah.
I think everyone's forgotten the fact that he's 20. Anyway, Women's World Cup. So as mentioned at the top, it was the Alana King show. Australia, South Africa, they handled things so well, finished on top. India snuck into the semis. So, India, when they've got it going in this tournament, they've really got it going. But when they've been off, they've been stinking. So who knows what they're going to rock up with in the semi-final. Maybe they've just set aside everything else to build towards getting it over Australia in this one. The one thing, we mentioned Alana, but the one thing, the top order, apart from Heels, haven't completely fired yet.
Yeah.
Yet. So
I was worried, actually, when Healy went down. I mean, obviously they're playing great cricket, but she has been outstanding with those 200s at the top, and it's really hard to just suddenly replace someone who's doing that in the middle of a tournament. But there does just seem to be other teams are almost intimidated by this Australian side before they even take the field. And I just can't see Australia losing from this point. I think that they had to overcome a couple of tests early against Pakistan. They were in deep trouble.
Just taking a deep breath there, Ben. At least we've got someone else to blame if it all goes to pot now. It's not just us two.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I mean, you're right. I mean, Elise Perry's had a bit of a tough time of it. Beth Mooney has come up with a couple of innings that have mattered. So I think they're in pretty good place, even if Alyssa can't get up.
Well, the one thing they haven't played, Jay, is the perfect game. And what they've done for a long period of time, especially in tournament play, is they've all peaked at the right time. We've seen that at times in this tournament, the top order haven't quite fired. Healy's got a couple of hundreds. Mooney got them out of trouble. Gardner's been outstanding. She's got 200. Sutherland's got a 90 as well. But they've done enough. They've all had a score at some stage. But what they are so good at is peaking at the right time. But come the semis also, I think India will be a different beast there because the crowd will give a lot of energy. And you've got to deal with that. You've got to find a way to silence the crowd. And the one thing the Indian girls are, they're not intimidated by the Australian girls.
We saw it in the group game.
Yeah.
They got off to an absolute flyer. They were humming along after about 25 overs.
And this match is at a venue that India's played at during the tournament, isn't it? So Australia's kind of,
Just on the Annabelle Sutherland near century, have it with good authority that got a bit comical towards the end there. So Ash Gardner had got her century and Annabelle was on the cusp. But it wasn't a situation where Pat Cummins just swiped at one and poor old Alex Carey was left stranded like in New Zealand and Pat went, oh, sorry, mate, I didn't look at the scoreboard. Sorry, pal. Annabelle Sutherland actually had the chance to get her century but ended up saying to Ash, look, this is getting ridiculous. Just end the game. So Ash did. That's a reasonable enough outcome for everyone involved. So we'll bring you up to date later in the week about exactly what happens with that semi-final on Willow Talk. Back in a moment. Drinks break. Ben Horne. Bit more of a deep dive into life as a journalist for an Ashes tour. Ben Horne from Code Sports and Daily Telegraph about to face the logistical challenge of children towards the end of the school year, a wife at work, and you just trotting off with your cricket mates to go and watch some cricket and work, of course. So have you worked out the roster? Because yourself and Dan Cherney do a lot of the reporting with Code Sports.
Yeah, Dan will be at all 5 matches.
He froths over it. He loves it.
He's our spearhead.
Yeah.
And I'm carefully managing myself through 3 tests with a test in between. Yeah, so get a bit of a rest in between second test, 4th test. So I think I'll be cherry ripe still by Sydney.
Yeah, okay, Pat. Just pick and choose when you want to play. Fair enough. What's it like doing the have you done an overseas Ashes tour?
Yeah, done a couple of them. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's the most intense experience that you can have as a cricket reporter because, firstly, just the length of time. I mean, the 2 Ashes series I've done in England also had a one-day component as well. So they were 3 months away, working every day for 3 months. And, it is intense and you just get in that rhythm where you're just in it, I suppose. It's hard to describe, but you file more than you file at any other time and it just keeps coming. But, it's also a great experience.
Here's how it's changed, Hads, working in that space for a short amount of time, is that back in the day it was like, editor, how many words? Yeah, 600, 800. Just give us something and you'd kind of dice it up between yourselves. Oh, I'll do this angle, I'll do that angle. One will do the match report for the day, whatever. Now, it's like if something happens, you're filing straight away and it's part of this continuous timeline, or there's a breakaway yarn that you'll be working on the side and things like that. So you could end up writing 4, 5, 6 yarns a day.
Yeah, that's
sometimes.
right. And look, big things happen in Ashes series as well. Like that's where often the big stories happen. Like I remember 2015, had a completely sleepless night, did not sleep at all because it was daytime in Australia. We'd heard that Michael Clarke might be retiring and, just were scouring Nottingham, trying to find him without much success, and then just up all night trying to chase his story. So by the time I turned up at the ground the next day and it was confirmed that Clarke was retiring, I hadn't slept and turned up for the last day. But I mean,
Didn't have his number?
Talking
I was already home.
Oh, that's right.
done.
Yeah, you were done.
So, but like they're the things you remember as well. Like that's they can be demoralising experiences sometimes, but having to really chase something that's a big story like that, that's what it's all about, I guess.
What do you think? Like the English aren't even here yet. How do you think their reaction and interaction with the Aussie journos are going to be? Like that they can be prickly, like a moral victory. Like where do you think that's going to land? Do you think they'll pull it in a bit?
No, I don't. But there's actually a good relationship for the most part, really, between the Australian journos and the English journos. Like those guys are, some of my closest mates on the circuit. They understand the theatrics and the comedy of the whole thing, the banter and the drama and everything. So, they go hard in print, but they also, they just enjoy the theatre behind the whole thing. So don't take it too seriously, I don't think.
Well, say you got your first press conference. If I'm looking at the players that come in, I'm thinking if Crawley and Duckett come in, I'm in there and I've got some questions because, well, you could say anything and you could give me a headline.
Can we give him accreditation to go in there and ask questions?
Yeah,
I've got my accreditation.
Yeah, I know you do.
Are you thinking of disguise?
Send him down there.
Moustache.
Moustache.
But some deal with it better than others, and others.
Rad Baden.
When guys go into the presser, and then you read next day, you think, oh, now I've got to answer the next 3 plays, the next 3 days. They've got to answer what they've done.
Yeah.
And I think the English have a couple of those players.
Well, Hads, I'd be interested to get your opinion on this, but I actually, one of the things that's fascinating me ahead of this series is that I think the two teams have almost swapped roles from what we're more used to. Like, you remember that series, it was 2013, or wasn't it, when even Nathan Lyon was talking it up and, saying that careers are going to be ended and all this kind of thing. And I feel like Australia's almost taken the opposite approach this time, where the guys that I've spoken to are almost handing out compliments to the England players, like, Harry Brook, he's great, Joe. So
great tactic.
Yeah, like this is a new one, I reckon. There's compliments being handed out from Australia, and I think England are the more likely ones to, perhaps drop that line that could ignite things.
As a player, because the coaching staff can get strategic and just drop little truth bombs in there from their perspective into the media. They know how it works. As a player, did you, like in a big series, an Ashes series, will you like have much interaction with press members from not only your own backyard but the English? Yeah,
well, sometimes you've got to get them away from the story as well. You might have 2 days leading in, you think, oh no, Sid's leg's no good here, and you've got to do the press, and you get drilled by our press. Go on, mate, make sure you don't say much about Siddle. They just rotate. And you go in and you just think, I'm going to say something stupid here. It's in the back here. And then you just go left field and throw something. You can see everyone go,
what'd you throw?
I could have thrown anything.
Yeah, no, you were very good at absorbing that pressure. Like, I remember you were put up after the game where Australia's bowled out for 47 in South Africa.
Were you?
And that was
you never told us this.
Yeah, and that
we've spoken of the 40.
They're easy.
And then one in New Zealand during that World Cup where there was all that doubt about Michael Clarke and whether he was going to play and everything. But it's a skill to be able to absorb the pressure when the team's under pressure like that.
I remember one at Lords, actually. Journo had one of his. He had a torrid time at times in the Ashes over there. He had one of those days where he lost his radar, and I couldn't reach. I was moving down leg side, offside. Then I started second guessing my technique, and you're in quicksand. You think, I don't want the ball to come to me. And that's a bad place as a keeper when you don't want the ball to come to you.
Yeah, not ideal.
And I didn't drop any catches, but what I did do, I couldn't reach some, and they were giving them buys. Didn't have a great day, and you start to doubt yourself. And they're looking for someone to do the press, and they're all looking around. I said, I'll do it. And our media guy sort of looked at me and said, you sure? I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I walked in. Before anyone had asked me a question, I said, oh, well, it does not get any worse for me there. I said, I felt in quicksand all day. Just the ball wouldn't go in, and you could see everyone go, and there's a pause. Mate, my presser went for about a minute and a half, and as I walked out, a couple of the English journos they said, oh, we were coming for you. He said, you just ended it straight there. Like, you can't hide. Sometimes the obvious is, you just say, I had a bad day. I can fix it. It's not the end of the world.
Is there a roster for end of a day's play for whatever play to go up, or is it just put your hand up and I'll do it?
It's usually the player of the day obviously goes up, and that's usually a good story. And then if you've had a really bad day, and that's where like your vice captain and your coach.
No, not the assistant coach ends up doing it on a really bad day. Correct, Ben?
Not the good coaches.
Or the coach. Or the coach.
I actually think it's a sign. You do get examples sometimes where, it hasn't been a great day or whatever, and someone completely irrelevant to what's happened in the day will go up. But I always think it's a sign of a better team when they still put someone up who's relevant. Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, well, good luck with the English. Do they expect your hospitality when they come down here? There's about 10 or 12 cricket writers, isn't there, across the UK that would come down?
About coming over for dinner or something, you mean? Or?
No, well, like that. Let's go to my favourite pub or whatever like that. Or
it's very social, I must say, and it's it is great to just catch up with those guys. You sort of only see them every maybe 2 years or so. So the Ashes is a very social sort of atmosphere outside of the day's work.
Who are you writing about in the last test?
Sam Konstas. Imagine that.
Oh, comes and saves us again. Yeah. That'd be a great story in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, look, I hope we're writing about Pat Cummins making a heroic comeback at the end of the series, and I know that's what he's working towards, so that would be a good result. I mean, look, I suppose there's two enjoyable things about a big series like this. One is a whitewash, and it's all over by Sydney.
Yep.
And the other is to have a one like we had last year against India, where it's alive for the Sydney Test. Like those sort of series are so rare. 2005, the Border Gavaskar one last year. If it can come down to a decider after 5 tests, it doesn't get any better than that.
And especially knowing in Sydney it'd be perfect weather, no rain.
Absolutely not.
We'll get a beautiful 5 days for the result.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was incredible the other night, wasn't it?
Oh, how good. I tell you what they didn't have, and they must, they had no sponsors on the covers.
Yeah,
it's one of the most.
That didn't go that well for the sponsor that had their name on the cover that had a hole in it the other year.
Now this week, Shield Cricket, as you're listening to this on a Tuesday when we release this one, it starts day 1 of round 3 of Shield, so Victoria and Tasmania down there in Melbourne, Queensland, New South Wales at the Gabba, and Western Australia, South Australia at the Wacker. Should they be playing one Shield game at the place where they're going to host the test? I don't know what the state of the field is. They might have concerts on or something like that, but that seems weird.
That's a good question.
Vastly different conditions, is it not? Wacker to Perth Stadium?
Well, the Wacker actually hasn't been a great surface for some time. Like the Shield game New South Wales played there, it was left to chance the result. And it shocks me that they're doing that because they've been such a successful team for a long time. It brings the opposition back into the game.
Definitely.
Like, yes, have it bouncy, but if it's going sideways and up and down, it's a lottery on the result. We've seen that in the New South Wales game.
Yeah, Perth is a bit of a unique place like that. And whether it's by preference that Australia would rather have a couple of days training at the Wacker, but like every other venue, all the training happens at the ground where the match is going to be played. But in Perth, they'll do most of the week at the Wacker and then just come to Perth Stadium for the last 2 days. Yeah.
Oh, well, plenty of cricket on this week. We've got Bangladesh and West Indies. I've just noticed the name of the stadium that they're playing this first T20 international. It's the Flight Lieutenant Mathur Rahman Stadium. Is that the only stadium in the world named after a flight lieutenant? Must be. Must
Can't
be.
think of another one.
I can't think of it. One doesn't spring to mind. And we'll keep an eye on what
Do
the
you
English...
sleep?
Not much. Not enough. The English are over in New Zealand, so we'll keep an eye on them. As mentioned at the top, Harry Brook in scary form, but not exactly flying is Jamie Smith, Ben Duckett, Joe Root, and Jacob Bethel out of that. They were 4 for 10 at one stage.
Do you think Bethel will get picked at number 3?
Well, I think there's 2 spots where Bethel could get picked. I think, do you go at 3 and Rob Key said he's a generational player, or you could actually go another way and play him at 7 or 8 and not play the spinner in the first test match, because the spinner hasn't been used much in Perth. So he could come in, bowl a few. He's different to Joe Root, left arm orthodox. You've got Root to bowl some off spin.
Well, Joe Root's bowled more than, I don't know, it might be just me, but he has bowled a lot.
Well, spin's
in the last few years.
Hasn't been used.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at the surface, it looks like it's going to be one of those surfaces where the extra batter might make a big difference, especially if you've got Stokes at 6, Smith at 7, and Jacob Bethel or Will Jacks. He could do a similar role, but I've thought from the start that they'll find a spot for him. Even when he had the opportunity to play in New Zealand and batted at number 3, those wickets were quite sporty, and he looked as good as anyone. And I just think they have to find a spot for him, and it might not be at 3; it might be at 7.
Taking the vice captaincy off Ollie Pope has certainly, laid the groundwork for that sort of decision if they decide to go down that path.
Yeah, it's not great signs for old Ollie, is it?
No.
It's not it's not like the signalling over the Vatican of a new pope, the white smoke. It's the exact opposite.
I don't think they'll play a spinner in the first test. I'm not convinced that we're not going to see a lot of short ball. I think with the side they've picked some guys that can bowl with some good pace. They've got their like your Wokes and that can hold and end up their swing bowls. They've gone for pace, which is a great asset in Australia, especially if the wickets get flat. But I think we're going to see a really aggressive approach to a lot of our batters.
Ben Horne, thank you, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Enjoy the caravan around the country. We'll catch up with you at some point, no doubt.
Yeah, look forward to it.
And speaking of caravans, he's about to hoik his caravan on the back of the trailer and get down to Canberra. He's the Brad Haddinville of Australian cricket. So you're there for the T20s?
I'm excited. I'm excited to get down there, see how close we are to getting a Big Bash team down there. I know there's a lot of talk, but...
Are you excited to see the Triple M crew in the hotel bar after each and every... Like, what do you just...
I've never seen a Triple M crew in a hotel bar.
Yeah, they're always elsewhere. Another bar or something like that. Enjoy the T20s. We'll be back later in the week with some special guests on Willow Talk. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Benny.
Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.